All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today's media availability with Chairman Mike Bost and Congressman Juan Ciscomani. We will go ahead and let Congressman Ciscomani take it away.
Great. Thank you, Paige. And thanks, everyone, for joining us here virtually. We're in Washington this week, getting work done, working on this bill, of course, which is the reason why you all joined. So I'll start off with some just brief comments, brief remarks. Then I want to turn it over to a good friend of mine and someone that I've had the privilege of serving with, which is Chairman Bost. He chairs the Veteran Affairs Committee, a Marine, and someone that fights hard every single day. This committee, let me tell the people back at home, is one of the best committees up here because of the bipartisanship that you can work on. And anytime you're working with and for our veterans, there's only winning to be done. And the chairman has led it in a great way where all ideas are welcomed, including the ideas of a freshman that has come in, and we've had a tremendous working relationship. So I want to tell you about this, our perspective real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to the chairman who can really break it down as well. So as you know, back at home, we have over 70,000 veterans in our district. So anything that I do is always through the lens of our veterans. We have a couple of military installations and bases, a base in DM Air Force Base and an installation over in Fort Huachuca. And Arizona has just a generally good job, very good job of attracting veterans who live in our state and attract here by different state policies. But we definitely want to make it better on the federal side as well. And this bill does that. And again, I'm going to let the chairman explain more of the purpose of this. But one of the aspects of this bill that it has is something that I've talked to you already at home before, which is the Vet Tech bill. This encompasses that. This is a bill that is currently a program, a temporary pilot program that has a focus on making sure that our military members get trained to be able to take on high-tech careers once they either retire or separate from the military. This is important because we want to give them options. They have great options to join law enforcement, which is what many of them choose to do, and that's a great path. However, some or others want to expand their options. And when you look at STEM careers in science, technology, engineering, math, these are the kind of things, cybersecurity, that some of our veterans can just make that transition. We have a workforce issue in our country, and who better to fill it than those that are retiring or separating from our military with the proper training and just being heroes for our nation. Here they are ready to go to work for us. So this Vet Tech bill has this aspect in the larger bill that we're talking about here, the Senator Dole bill, and in that aspect of the Vet Tech, that would make it permanent to make sure that our veterans would be taken care of. That's one of the aspects I just wanted to highlight real quick here. It has an 84% graduation rate, the program, and the average salary for our veteran is over $66,000 a year, which is great for any community, but definitely good for our Southern Arizona community. With that, Chairman, I'll turn it over to you. Once again, thank you for your leadership on this. Thank you for making time to talk to the press over in Southern Arizona and let them know about the work that we're doing up here. Thank you for your service to the country as well. Sir, I'll turn it over to you.
Juan, thank you. And I want to thank you as a good friend of mine from Arizona for having me on today with you. And, this is important legislation. Of course, understand that when I talk about Arizona, there was a time that I lived in Arizona thanks to the United States Marine Corps, not in your district, but I was in Yuma and have one child that was born there. So it's
wonderful.
Great. It's just great to work with you, and you do a great job for your constituents. But let's talk about the Elizabeth Dole 21st Century Veterans Healthcare and Benefit Improvement Act. It is a good bill for veterans and their families. The Dole Act is it took about a year and a half of work to put it all together, because what we've done is we've been listening to veterans, veteran service organizations as well, stakeholders, to find the gaps within the VA care and services and find where it is that the House Republican majority needs to take this bill to fill those gaps. So let me give you a few highlights of the bill. What the Dole Act does, it expands economic opportunities for our veterans. It expands non-traditional education and career paths for veterans in high-demand tech fields, which Congressman, you just described. It gives veterans even more choice in and where they choose to live out their elderly years by opening up for the first time in-home long-term care options instead of just being forced into a nursing home. It improves the VA community care program to allow veterans to have access to health care that works for them close to their homes. It modernizes the disability benefits and claims process by making it easier to use the forms veterans are required to when veteran applies for VA benefits. It expands the mental health care resources for our veterans caregivers. It also improves VA handling of the Oracle Center Electronic Health Record Modernization Program to keep patients safe and implement that program correctly. It also builds on programs we build on the progress that we've made to lift veterans who are struggling out of homelessness and back on track and get them back on track and having a better life, which obviously we believe will also help reduce the veteran suicide. So, we're hoping to bring that act to the floor very soon. We're working on it, and we're getting all stakeholders involved, and it's I'm very happy that we've named it after the hardworking Senator Elizabeth Dole. This has always been her passion, and the section that deals with the home care and that opportunity for them to stay in their home longer is most of her the reason why we named it after her. But be glad to answer any questions on it.
Thank you, Chairman, and I appreciate that. And I think one of the key things about the whole layout that you mentioned is that this comes directly from our veterans. We have many hearings where we bring in veterans, we bring in VA experts, and just people that are going through this. And the majority of our district are veterans,
right,
and including you, of course. So you know what it's like. And even in my advisory council, this is something that I'll mention, and then we'll open it up for questions. I have an advisory council with 20 veterans, and it ranges from retired general all the way to enlisted. A good friend of mine, an enlisted Marine for 5.5 years that separated from the military, and they all have different experiences.
Yep.
And from all of them, we heard about these main things that you broke them down in a great way. Transition into civilian life, that's a big one. Access to housing, mental health and of course the workforce and education opportunities. So these 4 things were the ones that keep coming up for me and my council, and when I talk to veterans, and this bill addresses that. So with that, we'd love to open it up for any questions. I'll let Paige here in my office manage that, but go ahead.
Yeah, so we have the first question from one of our local radio stations, and they are asking about the origin of the vet tech bill and how you kind of started that effort in the House.
Sure. So like I said, this was a pilot program before I arrived here. What we're doing with our bill is making it permanent. And this bill, again, the main focus is to train and offer the proper training for our military members before they exit the military. So once they do, they can hit the road running, the ground running on a career of their choice and have more options there. Chairman, you've been here a little longer than I have. Do you want to talk about the specific origin of the first pilot program on this?
You bet. It was the brainchild of Kevin McCarthy. It was his bill, and he championed it into the pilot program, but it was one of the first programs for education and workforce related as far as tech concerned. And as you mentioned before, it has an 84% graduation rate, which is just really, really high for most programs. And you're not dropping somebody into a pay where they're starting out at minimum wage. You're talking $66,000 a year on average, and quite often more than that. That's starting pay. So it is a great program, and the fact that you picked it up to do the expansion is one of the. We want to thank you for that, because it is vitally important to make sure that we're putting the money and the support in those programs that are truly shown that they're successful, and this is one that has.
Yeah, no, thank you. You're absolutely right. That's how it started. So when I got here and the speaker at that time, Speaker McCarthy, appointed me to the Veteran Affairs Committee, this is one of the first things we talked about. He said the expansion and making it permanent is coming up, and I'm going to want you to carry this. So Kevin McCarthy was very gracious on that, starting this and then handing it off to us, and we've been carrying since then. So thanks for that history, that lesson there, Chairman. I appreciate it. What else, Paige?
Yeah, next question is directed for Chairman Bost, and it is, can you explain the decision to name the bill after Senator Elizabeth Dole and what went into that decision?
Sure. One is Senator Dole. You know, she just recently got the Presidential Gold Medal Award. She has always been and championed not only the veterans issues, but specifically the veterans home care providing network. She herself, you know, with her husband, had to deal a lot with this. He, as a decorated disabled veteran, had issues later in life, but she saw the need and everything like that. And a lot of this bill is from her, including the fact that you can stay home as a veteran. You can stay in your own home. One part that's in there that I didn't expand on, but it's true. There's a glitch that says you don't get the full benefits, and most times whenever this happens, this is the last part of their life. And so there's a glitch that if you were at the VA and you passed, then you were allowed to be buried in the veteran cemetery and receive those benefits. What this bill does is says even if you're at home and you're receiving those veteran benefits, you'll be honored by having those veteran burial situation as well. So there's a whole lot of stuff in here that not only provides for the veteran that stays home, but for the caregivers that also, and it's only right to name it out after Senator Dole.
All right, perfect. That was the last question. So if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and end it there.
All right. Thank you for having me with you, Mom.
Thank you so much, Chairman. I'll see you back at work here in a little bit.